Patterson with the North Carolina Housing Coalition. Thanks for joining us this morning for our housing call. And without further ado, I will turn it over to our Executive Director, Samuel Gunter.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be with you this morning. I'm coming back from a little bit of vacation, and my kids have now started school because we're in year rounds here. So I know some of you are still in vacation summer territory, some of you getting ready for back to school, but hope you are all well. So we're going to jump right in. And we're going to start off with the North Carolina Affordable Housing Conference agenda is now available. So if you want to jump on our website, there'll be a link in the call notes. You can see the agenda. There will be 17 different breakout sessions at this year's conference, as well as the Housing Finance Agency's annual Housing North Carolina Award session and the North Carolina Housing Coalition's annual breakfast. So please don't miss this opportunity to connect with industry leaders, exchange ideas, and drive positive change. So mark your calendars for this year's NC Affordable Housing Conference on October 22nd and 23rd at the Raleigh Convention Center. And also be on the lookout for the evening of the 21st. The North Carolina Housing Coalition will be hosting our annual dinner before the conference as well. Early bird registration will open up on July 27th, and we look forward to seeing you there. So that's the big item on the organizational front, and let's jump into the policy news, starting with federal government. The House is expected to consider a continuing resolution this week that would extend funding for federal programs and services through early December. So the federal fiscal year runs through the end of September, but Congress is eager to avoid a shutdown before the midterm elections and won't be able to draft and finalize all 12 spending bills before October 1st. Members will be back in their districts for August recess and most of the month of October for midterm campaigning. For those of you out there, this is an excellent opportunity to reach out to your elected officials, invite them to tour your organizations, to come to a build site, and to talk to them about the impact of affordable housing investments and the need for better and more consistent housing investments in the future. Again, with the August recess and part of the month of October as well. Republican House leadership is also expected to concurrently vote on a budget reconciliation package that includes the SAVE Act, which is a voter suppression bill that they've been trying to get through Congress for a while now. This faces an uphill battle in the Senate, including from our own Senator Thom Tillis, who gave a very forceful speech in opposition last week. As a reminder, this is why the bill signing for the Road to Housing, 21st Century Road to Housing Act, was canceled because of the president's displeasure at Congress not passing the SAVE Act. So this again shows up in housing policy conversations as well, something to keep an eye on as we head in toward the August recess in Congress. At the state level, the General Assembly is out this week, so no updates on that front. But from a disaster recovery perspective, we did have Governor Stein calling for more federal aid when it comes to Helene recovery. You can read an article about that in the Asheville Citizen-Times that is linked in the call notes. At the local level, there's a number of pieces from around the state that are worth taking stock of. There's a piece from the Charlotte Post on how a Charlotte area church was reimagined for affordable housing. Greensboro and Guilford County launching housing assistance programs for low-income residents. There's pieces in here about Raleigh's Midtown and affordability disappearing. There's also a really good piece in the Indy Week about Wake County introducing an initiative to move 400 people who are living in encampments into permanent housing. Some creative stuff going on in Wake County, trying to address rising homelessness and unsheltered homelessness in Wake County. There's also a piece from WHQR on New Hanover County greenlighting a new affordable housing investment fund. For those of you in the East or those who have been following the ongoing saga in the East around the New Hanover County Endowment and attempts to invest in affordable housing, this is worth taking stock of. On the reports and resources side, on Thursday, July 23rd, that is this week, the National Low Income Housing Coalition will release its annual Out of Reach report, highlighting the gap between the wages people earn and the price of decent rental housing in every state, metropolitan area, and county in the United States. So be on the lookout for a blog and our weekly policy update email on Thursday highlighting the report's North Carolina specific findings. Again, this is one of their two principal reports they release every year, Out of Reach and The Gap. A piece from Joint Center for Housing Studies. Many owners can't afford to maintain aging homes. There's another piece from Affordable Housing Finance. It's a survey entitled Cost Pressures Disrupt Affordable Housing Pipeline. There's another on when churches become builders. And so for those of you involved in faith communities that are considering how to better engage in affordable housing production, preservation, or so on, it's worth taking a look. A couple of events to keep in mind. One is the National Women's Affordable Housing Network, WAN. Their quarterly housing policy update is coming up July 30th from 12 to 1. Registration is $25 for members and $50 for non-members. The registration link is in the call notes. There will be a timely quarterly policy update focused on the 21st Century Road to Housing Act and what the landmark legislation means for affordable housing. WAN's policy directors with Emily Kotick from the Affordable Housing Tax Credit Coalition and Jennifer Schwartz, the director of tax and housing advocacy at the National Council of State Housing Associations, will be joined by Sarah Brundage, president and CEO of the National Association of Affordable Housing Lenders, for a conversation about what's in the ROAD Act, what happens next, and the opportunities and challenges ahead as implementation begins. That's a powerhouse lineup. We've obviously seen them at our conferences in the past, but Emily, Jennifer, and Sarah are incredible, worth taking some time. So if you have a moment to register, July 30th, noon to 1, registration is very affordable for the National Women's Affordable Housing Network's quarterly housing policy update. The other event to keep in mind is KHEC has announced their 2027 conference dates. So the KHEC Partners Conference will be June 8th and 9th, 2027 at the Raleigh Convention Center. So you can find the link in our call notes to learn more about the KHEC Partners Conference and if that is a conference you would like to attend. As a reminder, the agenda for our fall conference that we jointly put on with the North Carolina Housing Coalition, the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, and Centric Community Capital is going to be October 22nd and 23rd at the Raleigh Convention Center. Early bird registration opens on the 27th, and the agenda is available for you to peruse and strategize how you want to spend your time. And we look forward to seeing you there. Also, keep an eye out for a save the date from us for the pre-conference dinner. Again, the big update on the federal side is be looking this week as Congress is debating continuing resolution on the budget that pushes the budget through December past the midterm elections. As always, thank you for all the work that you do. Really glad that you joined us this morning, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good day.